Welcome to the Geek Giant Podcast channel. My name is Benji, and today we're going to talk about chapter 1040 of One Piece, Falling on Deaf Ears. And this title is much more deeper than you can actually anticipate, especially with the connections with Corazon and Law, and Big Mom and Goldie Roger. And also, before we begin, I actually like to change my stance on last chapter, and it's not necessarily in the way that you may seem. Now, don't get me wrong, Law is still the GOAT. The GOAT! But the way that I see this fight, especially after a couple rereads of last chapter, the way that I see this fight has kind of broadened my perspective of things. But before I go right into it, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Me and my friends Nick, Taj, and Phil make weekly podcasts on all of your favorite anime and manga series. And go ahead and check us out. And if you haven't already, go ahead and make that move and join our Discord. We always talk One Piece there daily. But without further ado, let's begin. So we begin with the continuation of the Whole Cake Island incident cover pages, and we get a little bit more backstory on both Niji and Yanji. Now, if you guys do remember, in the last cover page, we see that both Yanji and Niji have been captured and are being overseen by Oven. And basically, this cover page, we get more context of how they were captured. And basically they got washed. They got washed by Big Mom. Big Mom came in and basically bodied both of them. This was already anticipated, but the fact of the matter is Big Mom blitzed both Yanji and Niji. And it kind of shows this separation between her power and the Germa science. But moving on to the chapter though, we actually move on to what happened last chapter with Kid unleashing his damned punk attack. Now, kinda, it's an electromagnet cannon, and I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fire. But Damned Punk is kind of a, I don't know, iffy name, I guess. A Damned Punk. I'm not gonna lie though, Gibson is pretty dope. But for anyone out there who thought that this was gonna kill Big Mom, you're sadly mistaken. You see, Big Mom's durability is absolutely godly, which should have been expected in the first place. Yeah, this blast was very critical, but it wasn't going to just one-shot Big Mom. So, people on Twitter probably need to chill. And both subordinates of both Law's crew and Kid's crew are kind of shocked at the fact that Big Mom is eating this attack. And to be honest, I'd be scared, because if both Law and Kid both fall during this battle, yeah, both of their crews are so weak that I'm pretty sure they'll, be sucked up, in an instant. Sucked up. I wonder if that was the right adjective, but yeah. Yet, check this line by Big Mom, and she's actually reiterating this to some of the Beast Pirates, and this is while Kid is using his proclaimed trump card. Big Mom states this: "I'll let you choose your fate. When this attack is done tickling me, you can either give me 50 years from your lifespans, or you can live as my slaves. Life or slave." Yo, what the fuck? The fact of the matter is, she's saying that Kid's attack is tickling her. Now, obviously, I feel like later on in the chapter, this may be cap. But the fact of the matter is, you say an attack of this caliber is tickling you? That just goes to show you the amount of strength that Big Mom has in the first place. But as she's about to take the lifespan of the Beast Pirates, you see this monstrous face on Big Mom. And as all of this is happening, it also seems like she's protecting herself with Conqueror's coating during this blast. Yet the really cool thing, especially about this new generation with Kid and Law in this fight, is the fact that they seem so unbothered by her looks, by her screams, by all of it. They're unintimidated. And I think this is such a big thing for the new generation, showing no fear and going head on with their goals and dreams. And it's kind of funny the fact that both Kid and Law seem more bothered by the noises that she's making rather than the face that she's giving them. Truly some GOAT shit. And now we see Law, and this is crazy because he still has some energy in the tank. I thought he was gassed last chapter, but I guess not. Now Law uses his room attack in a technique that we haven't necessarily seen before. But before this happens, Kid actually unleashes a second damned punk attack on Big Mom, which, like I said before, is kind of corny. Damned punk. But at the same time, it's cool, so, I'll give him a pass, I guess, but it is what it is. But Kid uses his damn punk attack in tandem with a room attack that Law uses. and it's called silence. Now we see all kinds of pleas and screams from Big Mom, but all of these screams are silent. And we see a brief shot of Corazon. And Law explains that this technique cancels out any single noise. Now this basically signifies that Law has learned an attack specifically as a nod to the late great Corazon. And it's a nod to his devil fruit, the Comcom fruit, which basically creates a soundproof barrier. And I interpret this as even in death, Corazon is still influenced heavily on Law. And he was so impressionable that even to this day, he's helping him defeat Big Mom. But do you remember that damned punk attack I mentioned that kid did a little bit earlier? And it really seems like he's trying to send Big Mom straight to hell. And Big Mom is falling, but all of the noises that she hears are only going to deaf ears. Hence the title. And while Big Mom is falling, you hear absolutely nothing coming out of her mouth since the attack that Law did on her. Nothing and no one can hear her. Even the stuff that she affects or that she touches makes absolutely no noise. Not even the mother's misery that she unleashed last chapter. Now, what I'm pretty presuming of, I'm not necessarily sure what the mother's misery attack that we saw last chapter is made of, but I'm pretty sure it's used of the homies both I think Prometheus and Napoleon. Now, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But if that's true, then basically at this point in time, Big Mom's not able to call onto her homies. Now, even as Big Mom falls through the basement of Onigashima, she actually goes unheard by Yamato, who we know is battling Kazimbo in the basement right now. The Fire Yonko, you know, that bitch-ass Conjuro unleashed. But while Big Mom is there, she actually manages to hit a couple bombs, and Yamato has to react very quickly in order for the whole shit not to explode. But the blast itself, it seems like it completely smothered Kazimbo, and it kind of feels a little anticlimactic how that situation was resolved because of a bomb. But, you know, I'll take it. I didn't really like the Kazimbo shit anyway. I don't like Conjuro, so there's that. But I do want to see what Yamato does after this chapter, because she still has some, you know, tricks up her sleeve, so we'll see. But also, I think this also signifies that bitch-ass Conjuro just turned into a pack. He's 100% dead now, I hope. You know, I really can't stand that nigga, man. But, you know, hopefully we'll see that Conjuro really has deceased at this point, especially with the Kazimbo kind of, you know, I guess like running out of flames. I guess that was kind of the depiction it was in the panels. I'm not 100% sure, but it is interesting to see. But as Big Mom is falling to the bottom of Onigashima, and she's falling basically into the hole that Law created in last chapter, we get this amazing top tier dialogue from her. And we see with a bunch of panels, and I'll kind of go into her dialogue first, and then I'll kind of separate that from the panels that we see. So this is what Big Mom says, and I quote, "Damn it, this is all your fault. Are you listening, Roger? Why do you have to go and say all that? The whole world brought it, the great pirate era. Your time was up, so it didn't affect you. All those brats came flooding in looking for their chance to shine, and you let us deal with it. The least you could have done was tell us about the One Piece before you croaked. It is real, right? Where is it, and what is it? Does this country hold some of the answers? It's so frustrating. Kid, Law, I'll never forgive you for this. You better not think this is enough to kill me." Now, really quick, let's unpack this dialogue in and of itself, and then we'll kind of go into the panels. This is very, very, this is one of the top tier dialogues that we got from Big Mom, regardless, whenever in the series. And at this point, obviously, we can kind of hint that she's defeated. Now, obviously, her resilience and her not dying at this point is very, very telling of her power. But the biggest thing that I kind of took away from this was Big Mom had a lot of admiration for Roger in general. And the thing about it is, I feel like something is hidden in Wano that she knows about, that she can kind of feel that is related to the One Piece in some way, shape, or form. And the thing that I kind of also gather from this as well is, along with her admiration for Roger, I feel like she kind of feels a little bit abandoned at the fact that, you know, he left without really kind of reiterating to her certain things about the One Piece and kind of how it went. And I'm not necessarily saying that Roger and Big Mom were friends in any way, but I don't know, it kind of seems very remorseful that, you know, Big Mom actually kind of missed Roger in this instance. Now, don't get me wrong, I feel like she obviously has her own, you know, goals. She wants to be Pirate King as well as Kaido, as well as anyone else. But the fact of the matter is, she seems so, I don't know, this dialogue really kind of gives a lot of perspective of Big Mom's character. And, you know, other than her being like, oh, okay, You know, like I feel like this was the best dialogue that we've gotten from Big Mom thus far, other than her being Kagi or her doing this, that, and the third. So I'm glad that this battle ended this way, personally. Now, here's the thing. Now, while all of this dialogue was taking place, we see a couple panels that we actually see, and they're pretty, pretty cool. Now, one, we do see Yamato, Chopper, and Hirogoro, and basically they're kind of like in the debris that Big Mom has created when she goes down from the basement all the way down to the bottom of Onigashima. Next, we see Brooke and Robin, and this is really dope. Because in essence, this confirms that Brooke is not the one that we saw last chapter in 1037, who was basically the Grim Reaper. Now, after this, obviously we confirm that Brooke wasn't the Grim Reaper in 1037. We do catch up to Zoro. And Zoro, he ain't looking too good. Now, I'm not saying that in a way that kind of be, obviously like hating on Zoro. But at this point in time, I do want to see the interaction that happened between the Grim Reaper and Zoro. Now, in some way, shape, or form, either the Grim Reaper could be the personification of Enma, the true king of hell. As we know before, I believe it was, I may be getting the name wrong. I'm gonna put it in the video. But basically, Shimosuke actually details that every sword has a unique disposition. And basically, the swordsman, his job is in order to tame that disposition. So I guess in this way, shape, or form, maybe Zoro has already done that. Now, on the other end, it could be simple hallucinations of the side effects of the Mink's drug that was given to him. Basically, if he takes it, he'll feel 2 times the pain, but he will be recovered for a short stint. But like I said, I'm excited to see how that kind of plays out with Zoro. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I do want to see Sanji. We didn't get to see Sanji this chapter. Sanji's my guy. But regardless of that, this chapter, obviously. But you know how I feel. I do want to see Sanji at some point in time and kind of catch up with the other Straw Hats as well. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Now, we also see bitch-ass Orochi. Basically, he's simping over Hiyori playing what is it? Simerson? I may be saying it wrong. And then we also get Raizo and Floppy Ears. And basically, it's looking like Raizo's coming out on top. Basically, Floppy Ears is like, I need water. He's dehydrated, I guess, because of all of the flames. Now, I do want to see whether or not, especially since Kizimbo seems to be out of commission, does that mean that the flames will cease or decrease in some kind of manner? But after these panels, we officially get a named victor for this battle, and it is Law and Kid truly breaking in the new generation of pirates, dethroning an emperor, having officially defeated a Yonko. And this feat is more than, it's crazy because all of the hype surrounded by these Yonkos, and I feel like this was the most appropriate way. A bunch of people saying this was rushed. I mean, I don't understand where and what kind of capacity do you feel like, this story needs to be, taken to. Obviously the battles seem very heartfelt. Now, I will say this, the off-screen punishment that we saw from Kid and Law, I feel like if we got a little bit more dynamic with that, then maybe people will be like, oh yeah, I respect Big Mom a little bit more. But other than that, I don't see why people are upset. It's really just nitpicking at this point. But like I said, I really enjoyed this battle. This was one of my favorite battles of Wano, especially seeing my guy Law go crazy. But here's the thing, we see Kid on the ground and he seems pretty drained, but we see my boy Law sitting in one of the most goated panels. His side panel, profile is so dope. I need this as my wallpaper. But the fact of the matter is Law is still sitting, he's still standing. And I'm gonna be honest, it really shows the durability and how OP Law is as a character without Conqueror's Haki. I like the fact that we're able to bring both Conqueror's Haki and Devil Fruits into the works and not necessarily mangle it to the point where you need to have one or the other in order to be significantly strong. Now, in the case of Luffy, he just seems to have both. So, that's good. Obviously, he's the main character, which I'm cool with. But Law is the perfect example that you don't need Conqueror's Haki in order to be very powerful in the series. And the thing about it is this defeat itself really defines how strong the new generation is. And I'm not gonna lie, both Apu and Hawkins gotta feel like dickheads right now. To go out of your way and to portray Kid and basically like have Kid really kind of rein in. And I have a really good found respect for Kid, especially after my rereads of last chapter. Once we get a little bit more development into his character, will be a very good character going here forth, or at least a character that a lot of people can kind of stand by a little bit later on. But this isn't all, because we still have a little bit more that Oda wanted to give us. So basically we end up with Yamato actually catching up with Momo, who is trying to conjure up these flame clouds in order to lift Onigashima away from the flower capital. And Momo is kind of curious about the hole that was created beneath Onigashima, and basically where Big Mom rests now. Basically, Big Mom got nuked, so we don't know if she's alive or not. I'm pretty sure she's alive though. And also another fact, I'm pretty sure she's going to make it into the Elbaf arc, especially with her relationship with the Elbathians and the Giants. But Momo tells Yamato something very specific, that Zunisha is very close, and that actually the elephant was actually mentioned in one of Odin's journals earlier on. And we conclude with this very statement from Momo saying this: it committed a crime 800 years ago, and this is in reference to Zunisha, back when it was Joy Boy's companion. And we end the chapter there. Break next week, but it's deserved of Oda giving us such a spicy chapter, especially with the defeat of our first Yonko in the series. Well, I mean, second Yonko because of Whitebeard, and an off-screen defeat of Rocks. So, was Rocks a Yonko? I'm pretty sure. Oh well, we'll see. But two things that I want to take away from this fight. Now, for one, I truly think that Law shined the brightest in this battle. But the thing that I want to kind of reiterate is the fact that seeing the dynamic, and I did mention this in my last chapter review, between Law and Kid is really significant to how this battle really needs to be interpreted. I feel like Law and Kid both kind of showed certain stints where the only way that we're going to actually beat this Yonko or dethrone Big Mom is we have to work in tandem in some kind of way, shape, or form. So every attack, every movement that both Kid and Law made was purposeful. And at the end of the day, you can't say one person was able to do it without the other. Now, of course, in my opinion, do I think Law shined a little bit brighter? Of course. But the fact of the matter is, Kid deserves as much respect as Law in this chapter as well. And like I said, I'm very excited to see what kind of happens, especially after this new generation is set in. I want to see how people kind of interpret it, and who knows, Kid and Law may be Yonkos after this, especially with the defeat of Big Mom. So there's that. But like I said, this battle itself was an example of how hungry this new generation is, and it's going to be doubled down once we see this fight between Luffy and Kaido, and Luffy coming out on top. But with that being said, like I said, especially with the stuff with Big Mom, her relationship with Roger, and it seems like she has some amount of remorse for how Roger just left. And I feel like she did have some kind of companionship with Roger in some kind of essence. But like I said, I feel like this amount of dialogue for Big Mom was the best that we've seen in the series thus far. Other than her being like, cake, but yeah, other than that, I can't really think of anything else. But what do you guys think in the comments down below? Let me know. But if you haven't already, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate all of the love and support that you guys have given me, and all of the people who actually watch these reviews. And this is also going to be in tandem with obviously the weekly Geek Giant podcast episodes that you guys love so much, with myself, Nick, Taj, and Phil, talking about your favorite anime and manga series. But with that being said, I love you guys. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.